Nick One Tit.
Nicky One Titty.
Nicky One Titty.
You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
Well, we're here. It's fucking Sunday, and we're sorry for the delay, but we got a lot of shit going on with the drafts and all kinds of, I don't know, there's trades and shit and all kinds of wrestling. There's 40 hours a week. It's a full-time job. So we're going to get into it right away. This is shit. Yep. This is it. And I'm going backwards. So going backwards. But you know, we're here. That's the point of it. So
break the ring down.
I don't know what I did, but I'm sure he's real.
Oh yeah.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. You just made the list. This right here is a family.
Hey, this is professional wrestler and professional podcaster Colt Boom Boom Cabana.
My name is Killer Cross.
This is the Smoke Show, Scarlett Bordeaux.
What's up, guys? The After Machine, Brian Cage.
This is Ryan from Pro Wrestling Tees.
Sadly, you are not listening to The Art of Wrestling, but you made a decent choice because you're listening.
You are now listening to...
When you're listening...
And you're listening to...
You listen to Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring. Break it down.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
This episode of Breaking Down the Ring is brought to you by Chawla Legal Group Estate Planning. Estate planning is for everyone. Whether you're worth $4,000 or $40 million, estate planning can help protect you, your family, and your assets while you're alive and well. To register for an upcoming workshop today, go to chawlalegal.com/workshops or call 586-273-7157. Again, that's chawlalegal.com/workshops or call 586-273-7157.
What the Rock is cooking.
we made it.
Technical difficulties, traffic difficulties. Doesn't matter. We're
You know,
here now.
maybe I'm just not fully awake yet or something, but I'm sitting here. I come in at 10:30. I'm like, all right, it's all set. Got everything in order. And then all of a sudden I hit play and
Nothing works.
fucking
Nothing
all
works.
jacked up. But needless to say, we're here. It's Sunday morning. It's a little after 11.
Yeah. You can tell it's Sunday, too. We've traded our beers for coffees.
That's right. We are your ring crew.
The symmetrically chested whole effing Joe.
Al Nast.
Chocolate milk sack ready.
Chocolate milk sack? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay.
I like it.
That's what happens when you have no balls. You just become a sack.
And I'm Nicky One Titty. So, I wasn't here last week. I see you all were.
Yeah.
How was the show? I heard most of it.
It was good until Smitty showed up.
Yeah, I figured.
Fuck that, I'm out.
Usually how it works. All right, we'll see you.
Bye.
We do have a lot of talked about. The draft finished on Monday. We had NXT, AEW, SmackDown. Fucking first thing, the ratings are just going down the shitter.
Yeah, because I haven't even watched SmackDown either.
I didn't
did.
finish it.
Yeah.
I think I got about 30 or 40 minutes left to go.
Okay,
I was trying to squeeze it in before the show, but
Yeah.
I didn't have
Yeah.
time.
The only real highlight of SmackDown was not really a highlight. The only thing that made anything is they set up Rollins is out as team captain for Team Hogan and Reigns is in.
We'll don't jump the gun here, Smitty.
Yeah, you're
We'll
totally.
get there.
I didn't watch it. Well, so I got like 40 minutes left too.
Mhm.
but this whole it being on Friday now is really fucking up my schedule. So now if I do something on Fridays, I just miss wrestling altogether.
Yeah, last weekend was really tough because I had something going on Friday night, something going on all day Saturday, like all day.
And then it's either wake up 2 hours before we do this on Sundays, or just kind of go read the Cliff Notes and go in there and wing it.
Yeah. And then Mikey wanted, he was like, see if you guys can watch NWA Power.
I
was
did.
like,
I meant to.
Jesus Christ.
I did. It's actually really good.
I did too. I've watched both so far. It's amazing.
It's an easier watch than SmackDown or Raw.
Fuck yeah, it
It's
is.
much easier.
Yes. But we will talk about Power because I definitely want to talk about it. But first and foremost, the ratings this week. So we can start with SmackDown. So their ratings for this last Friday show, just 2 days ago, their average this week was 2.4 million viewers. In hour one, they had 2.39. In hour two, 2.493. Last week, they were averaging 2.89 million viewers. So huge dip for SmackDown.
And the week before, it was like 3.8 million, right?
The premiere week,
was
it was
3.8.
close to 4 million.
Yeah.
So that's a big.
And then it dropped off.
Big drop off.
by a million, and then it just keeps.
So almost
steadily
a
going
million,
down.
almost a million.
It's
and
quite
a half
alarming.
in 3 weeks. Yeah. So as far as Raw was averaging 2.28 million viewers in hour one this week. I'm sorry, 2.28 for the whole show, 2.5 in first hour, 2.3 in the second hour, and 2 in the third hour. So it just dipped as the whole show went on. NXT and AEW. AEW had 1 million viewers down from, they were only down like, it was 1.014 this week and 1.018 last week. So
barely,
right.
not a significant drop.
So basically, they're just going to hover around 1 million viewers.
Now NXT went down from 790,000 viewers last week to this week 714,000. So a little bit more significant, but even still right around. I mean,
yeah, they're in the same ballpark.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I know that Friday night there was a World Series game and they did move it to Fox Sports 1. But for SmackDown, I mean, is this going to keep going on, Joe? Is they're just going to keep getting a decline until they level off like they used to be?
I don't know. There's definitely a disconnect from what they're putting on TV to the audience that's, consuming the product. I think Bischoff was kind of the patsy in the whole thing.
Yep.
Bischoff out, Pritchard in. I don't even know that Bischoff really did anything wrong or had a chance. He wasn't even there long enough to really fuck things up. I don't know, man, because they're really going with the football kind of aspect of it.
Sure.
With the way the draft was, and have
robot.
The robot and having football people on their show.
See,
I don't know how. Because I don't know how I feel about that yet. Like, if I like it or if I don't, I'm still kind of like, I don't know how I feel about that yet.
Yeah.
But I think if they keep up with it, I think I'm not going to like it because
you want wrestling to be wrestling.
Yeah, I watch wrestling to watch wrestling. If I wanted to watch football, I would watch football, and I don't watch football because I fucking hate football.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but you also hate wrestling for the most part. So.
No, I don't. No, I don't. I hate the guy that owns the biggest chunk of wrestling. Is my problem.
I don't think they're gonna do like that War Room shit going forward. At least I like you. I hope not. But what they could have done it the exact same way. Have your War Room, whatever. But they made it way too
cheesy.
Yeah, way too ticklebutt because like the way they had people reacting to like draft picks, and I'm like, that's not how this would be in real life.
Yeah.
Like you could have just had people sitting around a table and they didn't have to make any emotions.
Right.
Especially because like the way they portray it is the USA executives and the Fox executives, like they were trying to put on the best products, so they should actually be a little more serious and not jumping up and down every time they get a pick like it's
high-fiving cartoon football robots.
Yeah.
Right. And then I mean, but then they have Stephanie announce like the whole group, like the whole first round. There's 7 people taken in the first round or whatever the fuck it is. Why wouldn't you just have like a fake executive from Fox and a fake executive from USA like come to the podium, just kind of or have Stephanie announce it and then have them come up and like tell you why they picked them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
At least he didn't come out with like fucking Raw jerseys and SmackDown jerseys, because then that would have been.
We've seen that.
They've done that before already.
done.
Oh, for real? Okay,
Yeah,
that
they
must
do-
have been during my break.
It was during they did almost every other draft since the second one. They had, it was a SmackDown or Raw shirt they would come out with.
The shirt's okay, but like a fucking jersey, that would have really been football.
Yeah.
So with that, I mean, I kind of feel like they're like this week I didn't see much of, they were cutting to the Fox Sports guys that run, Fox NFL Sundays and Terry Bradshaw and all them, and who would you pick and who would you pick? And I think and I hope that kind of stuff will go away in the future, and I feel like it will. But they had, a panel with Renee Young and Samoa Joe and Booker, and I feel like, didn't they only cut to them like once or twice? I mean, if you're going to have this news aspect of, all this draft crap, I mean, you could have used your panel.
They were more so at that point promoting the new show that Booker T and Renee Young are doing.
WWE Backstage. I finally got a chance to watch.
I watched their pilot episode because they actually don't start until November 5th is their first actual debuting episode. But they did like a sneak peek for like an hour.
Yeah. Like Paige and Christian.
That felt a lot like
Talking Smack.
No. Well, yeah, okay, so like that's what it's designed to be, because it's kind of like a shoot thing, but the way they have it set up, it's like watching anything on ESPN, because you have all the side markers and stuff like running at the bottom of the screen, like here are your champions, and Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar, they all scroll across the screen as if you're watching a Sports Center or a Colin Cowherd or whatever.
PTI.
Yep, exactly. So, but that's okay, because all of sports is doing that. So if you want to incorporate that sports aspect of it, like that makes sense. And then you can do your little, they make announcements on the website all the time. Now they can like scroll them across the screen, like incoming news, Triple H makes a trade, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that part of the sports aspect is cool. The draft, on the other hand, not so much.
Yeah.
Oh, the dumbass. I did watch the WWE Backstage thing. Kudos on Renee Young for taking that shot about having her making that Fox money. That's where everybody found out about the trade, quote unquote.
They announced that early, though, just to get people to watch that show, because they're like, Triple H has a huge announcement about a trade, blah, blah, blah. And they did an article on the network.
Then they talked about the free agent pickups, too, on there.
Yep.
So, speaking of trades, there were a couple trades this week not trades, but, you had your SmackDown and Raw free agents. I'm trying to scroll here and
I got it.
Find them.
Yeah, I got it. I had it saved just in case.
I thought I did. But, free agents like, who was it? Cesaro went over. Thank you.
The Raw free agents, No Way Jose, Mojo Rawley, the Iconics, Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder went to Raw. And for SmackDown, Luke Harper, Cesaro, Fire and Desire, Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, and Drake Maverick.
So, I mean...
and Drew Gulak.
So let's look at it this way. Okay, I'll ask each one of you. We'll start with Smitty, because he helped us out with that for once.
I have my moments.
Who got the better end of the deal, Raw or SmackDown? Out of the whole thing, not just the free agents.
I think Raw got the better part of the deal. They got more women over there. They got they have a better balanced mid card, and you have like pretty much you got the guys that they pretty much been focusing on for the better part of 2 years now.
What about you, Z? Nazd? I can still call you that. I mean,
no, you can't. You're calling me somebody that got fired. You know how disrespectful and insulting that is?
All right, I'm going to go. I'm going to head out.
All right, SpongeBob. I actually think...
tit.
Sponge one tit. I think SmackDown got the better deal. They got... They definitely got the bigger names, and not bigger in the fans' eyes, just names that WWE is trying to push, like Roman Reigns. Like, wherever he goes, that's kind of going to label which one's going to be your number one show.
Sure.
Just how it is. They also have Brock Lesnar. Like, those are your two biggest draws right there, whether you want to admit it or not. And then they have the better tag division. At one point, all Raw had was the OC, the War Raiders, and what was the other one? They were feuding with the OC.
Yeah, the OC.
Yeah, see, exactly. So they didn't have many tag teams.
By the way, it's the Viking Raiders, not the War Raiders.
Whatever, you know what I mean.
The Viking Raiders. What about you, Joe?
I agree with Z. I think SmackDown got the better end of the deal. Or Nasda. Nasda? Is that how we pronounce it? Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Just call me L.
Doesn't matter what's your name.
Just call me L for short.
Right. Anyway, yeah. SmackDown, I believe, definitely got the better end of the deal. Like Nasd mentioned, they got the two biggest draws in the company in Reigns and Lesnar. And Triple H had spoke recently saying that Ronda Rousey is going to be making her return sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta believe she's gonna end up
get pregnant.
I gotta believe she's gonna end up on SmackDown also, because I gotta believe Fox is gonna want her.
Fuck yeah, they're gonna want her.
And they also got.
So I really think SmackDown's get the loaded show.
But the one thing I don't like about this, right? So Fox wants this and Fox wants that, and rumor has it Fox is the reason that they got rid of Bischoff.
Mm-hmm. We'll get into that.
Okay. Good. Okay.
Yep.
The one dumb thing I thought was like, okay, you picked up Bray Wyatt, but Bray Wyatt's been promoted throughout Raw events all throughout November.
Right.
Well, yeah, and he's on SmackDown, but he's gonna face Rollins for the fucking title at Crown Jewel.
Blood Money.
So the wild card rule is not gone yet.
Yeah, so much for that hard draft, sticking to your show.
So that kind of also gave this draft kind of killed some of the credibility of this draft at that point too.
I mean, I know you got to finish the storyline out, but Jesus Christ, come on.
You could have just finished it out with
burned down the fire.
You
could have left it. You could have left it open ended with that. So then next year's draft, if you draft Bray, then you go right back to that story.
I would agree with L and Joe that SmackDown definitely got the bigger end of the deal here. I mean, and I figured they would. They're trying to load that show up and keep those ratings up, which they're doing a great job of, obviously, right away.
It's all Bischoff's fault, man.
So let's talk about that. So this week, after, God, I don't know, a month or so, Eric Bischoff was removed as the SmackDown,
That's
whatever
ridiculous,
you want to
by the way.
Oh, he was removed from the company completely.
Totally removed after he moved his family and
Future endeavored.
Totally transitioned to the East Coast from, I think he was somewhere in Middle America. I don't know.
He lived in Wyoming.
Wyoming, okay.
Who the fuck lives in Wyoming?
Eric Bischoff, because nobody else lives
that's
there.
it.
Because he was born in Detroit and he hated it here so much. He's like, I gotta go to fucking Wyoming.
Let's go to the whitest place in America.
Right. Gotta get the fuck away from here.
So
Anyway.
I read a little bit about it, but Joe, do you know more about like any type of reasoning, or did you find out any information about that at all?
I mean, I was just reading a little something here. I think this is from Meltzer or one of the guys, but it says,
That's who it's from.
okay, someone I never heard of. It doesn't matter. But they said significant promises were made that we don't feel were upheld. The source also went on to say that there are concerns about undisclosed personnel changes by WWE, which that explains absolutely nothing.
Right.
So I don't know. I think, like I mentioned in the beginning of the show, I think Bischoff is just kind of like a fall guy. I think Fox is putting the pressure on WWE because their show sucks and the ratings are plummeting, and WWE had to do something drastic to appease Fox, and that's what it was.
I mean, I kind of feel bad for the guy.
I don't. He wasn't even there long enough to do anything wrong.
Right.
Okay.
And if he was making mistakes, he wasn't there long enough to he could have been trained.
He's got a mess to clean up.
Yeah, a big mess, dude. A big fucking drizzling shit diarrhea pile from Vince McMahon
Right.
to clean up.
Didn't do it in a timely fashion.
Hey, he didn't do it
apparently.
in 2 weeks or a month or whatever, so they fire him. It's not his fault. That's just a political thing.
The problem I see with all of this is all of this is what Fox wants. So Fox, this is a lot like originally when Time Warner bought TNT and they dictated what WCW could and couldn't do to what they wanted, not to necessarily what the company wanted to do. So, and that did not work out well.
You know,
that ended with Vince buying their company.
It's almost like what Vince has been trying to get away from for so many years. With he doesn't want anyone like or any entity being bigger than the company. No more Cenas, no more Rocks, no more Stone Colds. That's why we don't have any really big name stars other than Lesnar right now. Vince won't let him get over to that point. But to contradict that, now with the Saudi Arabia money and the Fox money, now he's got to kind of let them control some things too now, which is what he was trying to avoid for all these years.
Well, now he's got to do it.
But the money, the money's, you can't say no to it. So
yeah, but
it is what it is.
They're kind of pushing Becky to the moon, though. I mean, they're not doing it with any male superstars, but they're definitely doing it with Becky. Like she's
which is also a PR move, for feminism and women's equality.
LGBTQ,
and
RSTUV.
I get it.
So it's all just political bullshit.
Yeah. I just, again, you didn't give the guy enough time to fucking clean up anything. I mean, he barely settled in.
I know.
Like, all right, fuck you, go away.
Well, from his press release, though, it doesn't sound like he cared.
Yeah.
Because they probably sat him down and told him, like, look, dude, you didn't do nothing wrong, but you're going to be the fall guy. We'll take care of you on your way out. Sorry about this.
Well, hopefully, I wish him and his family and his dog
He'll be
best.
fine.
Yeah.
He'll be fine.
In his future endeavors.
I was actually kind of waiting. So they fired him like Tuesday morning. I was like, how cool would it be if at the end of the show, Eric Bishop shows up at fucking AEW?
He's booked at StarCast already, I think, in Baltimore.
He was booked at He was booked at StarCast like literally on Wednesday.
The day after. That's awesome. Good for him.
All right, so we can get into the shows this week, Raw, SmackDown, et cetera, et cetera.
Do we have to?
I mean, I can wait.
Can we just skip right to Wednesday?
We
just talk about Wednesdays.
Let's briefly touch on Raw because there was something of somewhat significance.
There was?
So, we had the Tyson Fury and Braun Strowman contract signing, which was really terrible for me.
Also, that should have been on SmackDown, being the fact that Braun is a SmackDown superstar.
And they initiated that whole feud on SmackDown.
It's that hard draft we're talking about here, man.
Once again,
now stick to your show.
The draft had no credibility with a lot of stuff that went on Raw and in general.
Right. And Tyson Fury breaking that pen was really fucking awkward.
I actually thought that was pretty funny.
It was he's supposed to be like kind of mocking.
Yeah,
him.
dude.
Yeah.
I that was the best part of the whole thing, I thought, because he's like, Braun did the broke the table, typical Braun.
Yeah.
And Fury's just like, whatever. I thought that was funny, dude. I thought that was great, actually. I thought that saved the segment.
I don't think that was on purpose. I think he actually had a hard time breaking that pen. Either way, it was good.
Either way, it was great entertainment, just for that short amount of time that it took to break the pen.
So is that match going to hold any weight?
Fuck no.
I mean, at all?
No, because
part of that's just going to be the...
You don't know that, because... I tell you what, dude, Floyd Mayweather and Big Show was goddamn entertaining.
But they didn't do anything.
Way,
it wasn't a wrestling match.
I hate the way that
but it was still entertaining.
Okay. I hate the way the commentary said, this is the first time a professional boxer has gotten into a
No, it's not.
Did they really?
Superstar.
Gorilla Monsoon, Ali, Mayweather, Big Show. Like,
no,
it's been done before. Thunder Lips, Rocky.
No, but in general, commentary kept pushing that.
They always want to WWE and their fucking revisionist history. They want to rewrite history. It's like it only exists in their eyes, and other stuff's happened that you don't control. Okay, fuck off.
I mean,
Michael
we
Cole.
do it too. Like Z should have had 4 title runs, and he's only gotten 2. So we rewrite our own history.
2 of those title runs were technically just hanging on to the belt while it was someone else's reign.
Yeah. Z was more of a transitional champion.
transitioned his ass right out of here. Huh?
Yeah, fuck him.
Future endeavor.
That, amongst many other reasons, that he's no longer with the show. Another thing that happened on Raw, we had the Raw Tag Team Championship switch hands again. Viking Raiders defeated Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler after Eric pinned Dolph Ziggler. Is it too soon for the Viking Raiders? Is it good
Nope.
timing?
Nope.
Nas?
I'm totally on board with this. They're probably the best tag team and biggest draw tag team as far as the different platforms they've been on in wrestling. So I think you're giving the indie fan what they want as far as your tag titles. They're an actual tag team, and they've been an actual tag. That's all they do. Like, they're basically tag team specialists.
Yeah.
So that's good. They're feuding with the OC, so there's still that storyline, and now it can be for the championship. I didn't like Dolph and Rude as a tag team yet. Not saying that I couldn't down the road, but they need like one gimmick. They can't just be two separate guys. They gotta like come together and be one gimmick and see how that works. Overall, they're basically veterans that just got signed to WWE, so I don't see a problem with them holding the titles this early on in their main roster career.
And from what I understand, they're one of, if not the only team that have held. There's quite a few different tag team titles they've held.
IWGP, Ring of Honor, NXT, and Raw Tag Team Championships.
Yeah. And they've held that. They've had the same personas throughout, haven't they? I mean, not necessarily the name, but like
the same
gimmick,
different names.
Yeah.
No, they weren't always Vikings.
Yeah, they weren't really associated with being Vikings the whole time. That just
But they still dressed like that.
not as much until they got to WWE.
Okay.
They were just War Machine in Ring of Honor and New Japan. Maybe they wore a little bit of face paint here and there.
They wore a little bit of face paint here and there.
But
like
they were
big
just
events.
basically fucking
Monsters.
ass kickers, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't calling themselves or
Hanson and
saying
Roddy
anything
Rowe.
about Vikings or anything. They were just
The Raid is here.
they were just kicking people's fucking asses, dude.
Yeah.
knocking heads off.
Well, that's what they came into WWE now. Now they're just Vikings that kick everybody's asses.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down with them having the titles, and I hope they give them a good run because it seems like the last, 4 or 5 tag team champion teams have not held those titles for very long at all. I mean, a month.
Yep, they've all been transition champions.
WE on either show, not including NXT, has not had a viable tag team division in over 10 years, probably, dude.
It's sad.
Well, that's one of the things I think AEW...
Because they themselves don't even put any value into it or take it seriously. So why would they portray like they do?
I think that's one of the reasons that you got people watching AEW, because it seems like they are caring about the tag team. They actually do care about the tag team.
Of course they are. They got one of the best tag teams in the world as EVPs over there.
And then, one of the more newsworthy things that happened, I guess, if you want to call it that, Seth Rollins burning down the Firefly Funhouse.
That's arson.
He burned it down, literally.
With his fingers. Like, all he did was turn to a table and look at it, and it caught on fire.
Yeah,
that's
and it
impressive.
Just went right up in flames.
That's
pyrokinesis.
Yep.
So Seth Rollins is like an X-Man now.
No, Caitlyn Jenner's an X-Man.
I see what you did there.
Jesus Christ.
Nyla Rose.
We don't even know what she's got going on down there.
She is
the biggest camel toe I've ever seen.
God.
We found Mr. Winky.
That's a...
Smitty, what'd you think about the Firefly Funhouse burning to the ground?
Originally, I thought it would have been a good way to close out this feud, being that Bray's technically on SmackDown. And like, you could just close this feud out there, and then I remember like, oh, Saudi Arabia. Then they added the stipulation. They're like, oh, this is now completely dumb because it made no sense.
Yeah.
You like, if you're gonna keep trying to run this out there, and I read about the whole Bray book throughout Raw events through November.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, why is this going on now?
And
I felt it was just completely stupid. It was dumb. It was like Firefly Funhouse has been one of your biggest segments.
yeah.
So does that mean it's over now? There's no more Firefly Funhouse?
I don't know. I kind of
If
feel
they-
like that.
If they bring it back next week or some way, or like a burn down house and
I feel like they could do that. Him just sitting in there crying with a dead fucking rambling rabbit.
Well, Rambling Rabbit's been killed like Kenny from South Park almost every other episode. So
I didn't really like any of that. The one thing I did like that I took away from that segment was like how Bray Wyatt, like the Mr. Rogers character, separated himself from the Fiend. Like,
why are you doing this?
yeah,
sir?
like he was like legitimately like, why are you doing this? Like he doesn't. Him and his alter ego are two different people. He's like what? Like literally like not knowing why Seth is doing that, and that's how it came across on the screen. I thought that part of it was well done by Bray.
Yeah.
But also
Everything Bray does is well done, though. Like they were talking about how when he went into this character, he didn't talk to like certain people that he's really close with for months because he was like getting into this character, like an actual actor.
Method acting.
Yeah. So
like Marlon Brando.
So I mean, like, in the attention to detail that he puts with every one of his characters or every one of his promos. Yeah.
That's what I think he should do. Kind of like go,
The Foley
especially
route?
now that Foley passed him down the Mandible Claw. He should go the Foley. He should wrestle like more lighthearted matches as the Mr. Rogers character, and then maybe when something bad happens to him, he flips a switch.
That would be cool.
And he's the Fiend.
That's too close to Finn and the Demon, though.
Well, that's on the Finn's on NXT now, so
Yep, you can pull that
okay,
trigger.
yeah, true.
But Finn turns it on when he wants to. Bray could be like,
A mental breakdown.
Yeah, it comes out of like he
So
can't
you
control
have-
it. He can't control it.
So you have
Dr. Jekyll, Mr.
Bray
Hyde.
Wyatt. So you have Bray Wyatt, who can't buy a win and ends up getting mad, and then you have the undefeated Fiend. Like that's what sets Bray off, is he just continuously loses. As Mr.
I mean, that's a
Rogers.
better explanation than anything else. Why he went from a guy that had a less than 500 record to being indestructible in one night.
Well, no, but you got to look at so you said it yourself. Like they're two different people. So
That's what I'm
the
saying.
Fiend is technically indestructible, which makes
That's
sense.
what
though,
I just said. That would make a good explanation for what we saw.
Also, like maybe like use the Firefly Funhouse burning down as a catalyst to get rid of the Mr. Rogers character, and
And you
let
just
them
be
more
the
of
Fiend all the time.
Yeah.
But I still like. I mean, that's the dynamic of two characters.
Yeah, I like it, but like I feel like with the for burning down the Firefly Funhouse, you
Because nobody's really done that since Foley, though. Like.
So when do you think Bray will start Project Mayhem?
First rule about Project Mayhem is we don't talk about Project Mayhem.
Hey, what's up with everybody burning down Bray's houses?
Right? Randy burnt down, what was that? The Sister Abigail thing?
Yeah, the Grave of Sister Abigail.
Sister Abigail
house.
shed?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I wonder if they would use that as some fuel to even ignite an angrier Fiend.
Nice pun there.
I hope that they do find some kind of way to keep the Firefly Funhouse going, because it was one of their better segments. People loved that. I mean,
Though I got to be honest with you, watching SmackDown, the premiere on Fox, with a couple of my buddies who are more New Japan fans, so you might call them casual WWE fans, because basically they feel like it's all tickle butt. And so guys with that mentality who just kind of like no nonsense wrestling, who I talked into watching SmackDown with me and had to do that, they were watching Bray Wyatt in the Funhouse and all that shit, and they were not not into it. Like they were like, what the fuck is this? This is fucking stupid. And I'm like, well, this is one of the most popular things in WWE right now. And they're like, oh, that's why I don't fucking watch this shit,
Yeah.
So
I get it.
There's that side of the coin too.
So with that being said, that this is leading to a Seth Rollins versus The Fiend at WWE's Crown Jewel on Halloween. In a Falls Count Anywhere, there must be a winner match.
So it's a 2 out of 3 falls match?
No, Falls Count Anywhere. The referee. There can be no referee stoppage. There must be a winner.
Right.
Okay, so it's like there are no rules. Just they beat the hell out of each other. and somebody
This
gets
is in Saudi Arabia?
This is in Saudi Arabia. Yep. I don't know how. What are they? They've had 2 shows in Saudi Arabia so far. I don't know how extreme.
The greatest
Great
Rumble.
Royal Rumble, Crown Jewel.
Crown Jewel. This is the second Crown Jewel.
And
They've done 2 a year for the past 2 years. They do.
Yeah.
They do one right after WrestleMania, and they do one at the end of October, and they've done it for 2 years now.
I didn't know they've done that many, but I don't know if they've had a match where it could potentially get this hardcore feel.
It's not going to be.
I was going to say in Saudi Arabia, where you can't even fucking have women in the ring.
Oh my God! He pulled out a machete.
So I was going to say how
They can't bring Sami Zayn either because he's Syrian.
right. How I mean, when you look at this, okay, no holds barred. There must be a winner. Blah 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 blah. And any other day, okay, cool. But in Saudi Arabia, I mean, how far can they really take it?
It doesn't matter whether it's WWE. They're not going to take it that far.
Yeah.
They're paying for
but
Hogan, Flair, and Taker.
If there was a time to do it, it would be to do it on your network. It's only being shown on your network. So you kind of have free reign of what you could do with it if they went that route. Because it's not on Fox. It's not on USA. They don't have to necessarily abide by those network rules.
Well, do you think the Saudi Arabia people are just going to be like, okay, well, now we see this match because they're trying to force WWE into doing kind of what they want when they come over there.
Hence, Team Flair and Team Hogan.
Yes.
And also,
we're going to have a
Calloway-
Survivor Series match right before Survivor Series.
And then also, they confirmed that Mark Calloway is in Riyadh with Vince McMahon right now as well.
Yeah, I saw that.
What?
Taker's over in Saudi Arabia right now.
Oh, yeah. I saw that. His float thing.
Okay, so enough of that. We'll fucking see what happens, I guess. NXT on Wednesday. I mean, it was another good show.
NXT is always a solid show.
Yeah, I can't really say anything bad about it. Not that I really remember. Tommaso Ciampa came back and he defeated Angel Garza. After the match, the Undisputed Era showed up and they kind of, I guess you would want to say try to intimidate Ciampa. They handed him a mysterious USB drive. This USB drive showed an attack on Velveteen Dream.
That's shit like that. It's feeling more. It's just little things, but that's feels like a Raw or SmackDown thing, which is what we don't want with our NXT.
You're gonna get it.
Thank you.
You're gonna get some of it. I mean, it's too early to say.
Velveteen Dream has sucked ass since they went to USA, and I don't think it's his fault.
Yeah,
because I think that he's getting wrote for now.
Well, now apparently he's injured.
And that's the way to write him off.
Yeah. I haven't seen yet, and I'm going to see if I can pull it up real quick, what the potential injury could be. But yeah, apparently he's been wrestling injured for a little while. He's out indefinitely with a back injury. That is, let's see. Yeah, he's out just as it's a back injury, and he's going to be out for quite some time. So
he's super young still. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
Plus, when he comes back, it'll be a huge pop.
It's because it's probably perfect timing because like I just said, he's been stale since they made the transition over to USA.
Yeah,
might not have been his fault. So this be maybe a good time to regroup for him.
And he's only had that one match on USA with Roderick Strong, right? He's just been kind of coming out.
I believe
doing some
so.
Promos.
Yes. Yeah, and not good promos. Not the
right.
typical.
And it's weird because he's like the best person on the mic in NXT.
That's right. And the promos he's done on USA are not the typical dream promos that we used to get from him when it was only on the network.
And the only thing
that's what's kind of like scaring me about this move a little bit because it feels like I said, that's not Dream talking. That's not a typical Dream promo.
Yeah.
It feels like someone is
right,
telling
right.
them what to say. That's not what we want with our NXT.
Right.
That's what exactly we don't want.
You're gonna get
Your feet
some
also feeding
some
into
sort
my
of
point about the move anyway.
Sorry.
That's always been that's always been my point. My point.
Didn't mean to steal your thunder there.
Yeah, fuck it.
The point got across either way. That's what we were trying to get across.
Nas, what do you think?
I don't remember.
That's okay. Imperium ended up defeating Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch. It was a pretty rough match, in a good way. You know, very
It was
physical.
really hard hitting. Yeah,
Yeah,
But
very
that's-
physical match.
But that's what they're like. I watch NXT UK and I've watched Imperium as they start coming up, and Burke and Lorcan are just
All their matches are
the Brit Am Brawlers.
Yeah,
like to
I
call
love
them.
those guys, man.
Yeah.
And Oni's doing great work on 205 on top of work with Burch and the
I
tag
just
team
don't watch
division.
205, man. I don't have time.
Nope.
There's lots of stuff I just can't watch.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Keith Lee and Dominic Dijakovic.
Killed it again, as always. Those two guys are amazing, aren't they?
Seriously. Those matches, the first one that I watched was the last one, and then I went back and watched the other one, and then, you know what I mean? But
They always seem to outdo themselves.
yeah.
That reverse Rana by Lee, dropping Dijakovic on his head like that.
Especially
My God.
Especially how big these two guys
I
are.
know.
Yes,
Guys
yes.
that size,
Should not move like that.
but they do, and that's what makes it great.
Yes,
Keith
exactly.
And I
what-
know the old school, the brother meant to, big guy, you gotta wrestle like a big guy,
Yeah.
No, fuck that.
I'm sick of
Presentations.
that mentality. I like watching guys like Keith Lee and
Yeah.
Dijakovic and like Brian fucking Cage, who are just fucking freaks,
Monsters.
like just freak athletes that can fuck that big man style.
I was gonna
I
say
agree.
watching the big men move better than just the stiff
Yeah.
thing they used
Yeah.
to do. That's
just
more
because you
entertaining.
can do it doesn't mean you
Yeah.
should do it.
Why-
Why not?
Right.
Yeah, no, just
Fuck
because you
off.
can do it, you should do it because it's fucking entertaining.
Keith Lee is
Right.
320 fucking pounds. It moves like a damn cruiserweight. at
Yes, he
times.
does, dude.
Yeah. And you
He's
get,
doing drop downs and leapfrogs and shit, like running the ropes and shit. Like
you get more of those guys like that hybrid athlete in the business, and I mean, people love seeing that.
See,
shit.
that's what they're trying to do with like all these UFC signings. It feels like, but
yeah.
really, do you guys think at any point that wrestling is going to get oversaturated with former UFC fighters?
No. I mean, because it kind of did back in the
I
late
mean,
'90s when they brought in they had Shamrock and they brought in Severn and Steve Blackman and they
Yeah,
had
but
a
more-
run of MMA guys back then.
TNA did it too. They did it with Tito Ortiz. They did it with Rampage Jackson. It was a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't they just
King Mo?
King Mo, yeah.
Weren't they just like one-offs though?
No,
No.
actually,
King Mo did a bunch of stuff over
Yeah,
there.
but
Rampage-
what a Rampage and shit like that. Like,
Rampage was there for like a good 3 years.
Oh wow.
oh, see, I didn't know that. See, I wasn't watching at that time, nor do I watch now. But
Actually, a good product. Bound for Glory tonight.
I don't know. I just think that with all the money Brock's getting and all the money Ronda's getting and all the money Shane Velasquez,
Cain
is
Velasquez.
getting, yeah, Shane Velasquez,
Shane, I love it.
whatever he's getting, and then you have guys like Riddle and even Sonya Deville had a background, or Shayna Baszler had a, you know what I mean? So
Marina Shafir.
I'm just wondering if the WWE is going to overcompensate for, like, oh, we don't have to train these people. We can just bring in these people from the UFC and see what happens.
They still have to train
Yeah.
the transition.
Right, but a lot of them may transition more quickly because they're already used to being fighting. They just have to make it not be real.
like there's a reason that Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke are still stuck with Shayna Baszler right now.
Yeah, because they suck.
Yeah, I think they'll kind of find their middle ground with it because
And their
not
shirts
only,
are stupid. Let's fight. Let's play.
What?
fuck is that, dude? The fuck is that?
Not only do you
Shayna's
gotta,
got stooges.
well, you
That's
got to
a-
perform in the
Briscoe
ring,
Patterson.
but they've got to be a character too, and they've got to have that personality. And if you're a fucking douche but you can fight really well, I mean, I know that they've made exceptions to that rule, but
Well, that used to work.
Yeah.
That's why there were these things called managers.
Yeah.
But Vince don't believe in managers, so that doesn't work anymore.
Vince needs to die.
Dude, that motherfucker's going to outlive us all, dude.
Uh-huh.
you know, it's going to be like WrestleMania 92. He's going to be 152 years old, still fucking sitting in Gorilla.
Welcome, everyone.
Say it, goddammit.
That's good Shania.
Shorty G. Say it, goddammit. Say it.
Oh, I mean, at that time, we could get Trump versus McMahon in a Depends match.
Let's put it in the casket. Put him over in the casket.
Walker
match.
on a pole match.
Depends on who's going to still be alive tomorrow.
Hey.
Toupee on a pole match. Let's go, guys.
So book it.
Now, okay, with you guys mentioning the UFC fighters, that leads me to Shayna Baszler coming out during Tegan Knox's return. Tegan Knox, she did get her win against Tainara.
Tainara Conti.
Tainara, yep, there you go.
It's just Tainara now.
Tainara.
They got rid of her last.
I wonder
Already?
why. I wonder why. Tainara, never mind.
Shayna Baszler did come
Cunty,
out.
there. Cunty.
Tainara Cunty?
Yeah.
Oh.
There you go. Anyway.
That was real Tourette's of you.
Cunty. I couldn't. I had to get it
Yeah,
out.
she is very cunty. She's got a fat meat box.
Smitty's meat.
And there's where the show went off the rails. See you guys next week.
Use the code word Big Meat Box on your next purchase.
To get a 20% increase on
So Baszler came out talking shit to Tegan Knox. Is this setting up anything? Because I like the idea of Rhea Ripley when she was kind of calling out Shayna Baszler the week before last. So,
But she also called out Io Shirai this week.
yeah. I mean, is this going to maybe set up a four-way? Are we going to see a women's War Games match?
Bazzers.
I would rather.
Brazers?
Brazers.
I would like. I think I would like to see that because they like this week was the first time they mentioned War Games on NXT, and have the first ever women's War Games would be pretty cool. Yeah. And when I saw Wally's returns, I think we won't see the women's title defended in War Games, but we will see like Shafir,
Some kind of number one contender match.
maybe.
Yeah, okay. And then Damian Priest defeated Pete Dunne, which shocked a lot of people from what I'm seeing.
I did not. I didn't expect that.
I saw it because I feel like they really want to push Priest.
I was gonna say I saw it coming because they seemed the way they introduced him and everything on. I don't remember if it was the premiere or it was last week, whatever.
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago, I think.
Last week
Yeah.
when he shot, just kind of came out,
Yeah.
beat up Dunn and shot the arrow at the string.
So yeah, no, I'm kind of glad they did it. I'm a huge fan of Pete Dunne, but the way they introduced Priest, it just made more sense for him to go over. And him beating Dunn gives him
credibility,
instant credibility, instead of just, oh, look, he's won all these matches against nobodies.
Right.
Because they're big on records in NXT. Like he's like 1-0 in NXT now, right?
Yeah. I'm not too familiar with him. I mean,
Came from Ring of Honor. He used
Punishment
Martinez.
He used to
Porn
be
name.
Punisher Martinez, but Marvel didn't like that, obviously. Then he was Punishment Martinez. Now he's Damian Priest.
And they introduced him as Punishment Martinez.
They did, and he lost in NXT under the Punishment Martinez name.
Really?
And then came back as Damian Priest.
Yeah.
That was when they changed. They did a complete overhaul of people's names. Like they brought
Cameron
them.
Grimes and all of them. Yeah.
No. That was for that tournament.
And then DJZ is Joaquin.
and
something.
ACH is something else.
Miles
Jordan.
Yeah.
Oh, Jordan Miles.
ACH has the biggest teeth I've ever seen in my fucking life, dude. That guy should never.
Yeah, that nigga got buck teeth.
Never, ever smile ever again.
He gonna be the smiling, happy, dancing, cool
Shawn
character.
Michaels thinks you should lose your smile.
he gonna be that happy, dancing, singing coon.
Glad you're awake. Wow. I'm glad Smitty's awake now. He's in such a better mood.
I'm talking wrestling. There was a lot of stuff going on earlier, so I don't want to talk about.
Good, because we're here to talk about wrestling.
Yeah, that's why I'm happy.
More wrestling.
More wrestling? Are we moving on from Monday?
Nope, we're still on Wednesday.
Oh, we're still on Wednesday.
Still on Wednesday for AEW Dynamite.
This is like the one show I actually watched this week.
Just real quick for me, it's been. I don't think it was the best episode that they've had, but it's probably. I mean, they've only had 3.
Episode number 3.
But,
It's not the best.
Probably second best
Yeah.
out of 3.
It was still
Solid.
It was really good. I mean, I enjoyed almost every minute of it. There were a couple things I was a little fishy on, but we'll talk about that.
People were criticizing the main event online, like Darby Allin and Jericho, but I didn't see why. Like, seemed like a pretty okay match to me.
Yeah, I saw some people mentioning, Jericho's old and he can't move as well. And
People try to dog Marco's stunt.
He is getting old, and we'll talk about both of those. The first match, the opening segment, you had the Tag Team Championship Tournament match. SCU was on their way to the ring, and the Lucha Brothers fucking beat the fuck out of them.
But more specifically, Christopher Daniels.
Yeah, dude,
Christopher
that package
Daniels.
on the ramp,
Yeah.
absolutely brutal.
Yes. And so then Scorpio Sky came out to
I thought that was well done because if you watch Being the Elite or whatever, they had this whole little segment on like who out of the 3 was going to compete in the tournament.
Yeah.
And they're like, and Daniel's like, it should be Scorp, go with youth, and Scorpio's like, nah, should be you, go with experience.
And last week,
inevitably they decided to do Daniels and Kazarian, and so that was like a kind of a perfect way to like
transition Scorpio.
Yeah, transition
And he
Scorpio
wrestled
in
with
one shoe and one sock.
Yeah.
And then he took them both the other shoe
Yeah,
off.
that's right.
and finished the
Fuck it.
match.
Yeah, when the shoe came back into the ring,
That was great.
I died. I was like, this is great.
But also, it shows you
I
how
think that
talented
did
Scorpio
JR
Sky
pop
is.
at that was they show his shoe back.
What was that? But also as a testament how talented Scorpio Sky is.
He really is.
And he's one of those younger guys that is finally getting
He's
like a
not that
television.
young, dude.
No,
he's been around a
he's
long
like
time.
He's
Younger.
like 34.
I said younger. If this is one of his first times like on a major platform.
Okay.
He deserves it.
Yeah, and it was a great match. I mean, I like the best friends work in the ring.
I really, and that's another one. Just like I was kind of surprised that Dunn and Priest. I thought the best friends would win that match.
Yeah, based on
So when SCU,
after
when
the
SCU
attack,
won, I was like, "Fuck yeah, man, that was sweet."
Was that AEW is making you care about their tag teams?
Yeah,
And you know what? It's not that hard to do.
It's not.
No.
It's really not.
It's not.
I mean,
Let's see. Even with the Luchasaurus injury and
yeah. Well, how is he injured?
He tore his
AC
hamstring.
He's out for 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
Okay, so
And that was a good match too.
well, with that, so you did have another AEW Tag Team Tournament match. The Lucha Brothers were facing Jurassic Express, which was supposed to be Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy.
Jack Perry as
Yeah, he kept calling him Jungle Jack.
Jungle Jack.
And instead it was Marco Stunt and Jungle Jack because Luchasaurus ended up with a hamstring
Doesn't
injury.
Jungle Jack sound like it should be a cereal?
Or like a drink. Like some booze.
it could be a restaurant.
Come on down to Jungle Jack's.
Come have a
or
drink.
a
at
porn star.
Jungle Jacks.
I feel kind of bad for Luchasaurus because he was getting,
He was probably one of the most over guys in the company at this point.
but apparently he's really injury prone. He was having some injury issues when he was in WWE developmental. When I read up on that a little bit, and he was out for quite some time. I think it was like an ACL injury.
He's a big,
No, it was.
he's a big
so
guy.
I listened to his.
Mashing it.
He did a podcast with Jericho.
Yeah, I listened to that.
It
one.
was his meniscus.
Okay.
One, he injured his shoulder on another, but he is injury prone, but he's never had like a long standing injury. It's been like 3 to 6 weeks, and then you're back. So it's been like an ankle sprain, or nothing
So
like.
this is big as one right now.
Well, he's a really big guy.
Yeah.
Wrestling
And
a very
racing.
high risk style for
Yep.
his size, so he's gonna get.
But
He's Kevin Nash in it.
he was actually a gymnast too. That's where a lot of his
Okay.
acrobatic shit comes from, because he wanted to make sure he took that in the ring. And Trent Beretta is actually the one that kind of like helped him figure out his style, like what exactly he wanted to be. Because when he was in WWE, he would try too much to do the acrobatic style, and it kind of hurt him. So
Yeah.
he's found a happy balance, and now he's injured. So
Tail
that
whip.
sucks.
Okay, so a little sidecast here. With that being said, do you think that the idea that he's a bigger dude and he does these kind of acrobatics, does that prevent more guys like Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic and Drew McIntyre from going to that level because they're afraid that they might injure themselves? They might be at more of a risk.
I'd take McIntyre out of that conversation.
Yeah, that's more of a brawler.
He does wrestle more of a big man style. It may get others to think that way, like people that may be talking, see, this is why you shouldn't wrestle that style.
Yeah.
I don't know if it necessarily makes the wrestlers themselves think like that, because I think
more managers and
they
bookers.
want the wrestlers themselves. They're going to want to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
And it's going to be up to management and the agents to tell them what not to do. Which stuff like that might make managers and agents say that kind of stuff, what not to do more.
Yeah. Now, one thing in that match, and I might not be familiar with this, so it probably won't be as big of a deal as I thought it was. There was a point where I think it was Phoenix was in the ring, and he went to tag Pentagon, and they were actually both in the ring. Pentagon ran to the corner, didn't get out of the ring, and then Phoenix just ran and tagged him while he was just standing in the corner.
I saw that.
So I don't know if that's kind of like a rule in other promotions that all you got to do is be in the corner or something like that. But I did catch that, and I even rewound it. I was like, is he the legal man? He did tag him.
Well, here's the thing. So even WWE standards, that could technically be legal. And it's because all you have to do is be in the corner and
With a
hold
tag
that rope.
Yeah,
as long as you're holding the rope, you can basically be is my understanding.
In the corner.
Yeah, so I didn't know if you necessarily had to be outside of the ring as long as you were, like you said, holding that rope.
Yeah, because you've seen like where they hold the rope and then like stretch along the rope and be like,
Plus, they have a 5 count to get out anyway, so to have the ability to perform double team maneuvers and things like that. So
so the tag in the corner was okay in your guys'.
It wasn't.
I mean, like,
and we already know how lax the AEW refs are anyway.
Yeah.
So,
well, like you, I was like, it's kind of weird, but it didn't like hinder it for me. It's not like not calling a DQ like ruins the integrity of the ref. It's like, okay, yeah, whatever. Like, that was weird, but I could understand how they could argue it if they went that route.
Did anyone see them address that on Being the Elite?
Wait, what?
I didn't watch Being the Elite this week.
The no DQ.
No.
Oh, okay. It was like Kenny kind of chewed out the ref. What's his name? Rick Knox or whatever. The ball guy. And he's like, wins and losses matter here. He's like, I got a losing record going on. You got to. And then he's just kind of chewing him out, but like in a kayfabe way, And then Kenny walks away, and it pans back to the ref, and he's like, nobody wants to see a DQ in a main event. I was like, that's pretty good, actually. I was like, way to hit, way to come out and get in front of it,
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
The one thing about that match is the backlash about Marco's stunt kind of made me angry.
They just think, and I understand, but
no, fuck that. There's a little man by the name of Rey Mysterio that.
Well, so real quick, but for
okay.
those that don't know, there's a lot of criticism about Marco Stunt being in the match. Marco Stunt is really, really, really fucking small. To me, who fucking cares? But there was a lot of criticism about him not being able to size up with these dudes and et cetera, whatever. But sorry, Joe, go.
I get the criticism. I'm not saying I'm one of the criticizers, but I understand where they're coming from. It's kind of hard to believe. He does look like a little kid. And then when you want to compare him to people like Rey Mysterio, though, Rey Mysterio is short, but he's jacked. Marco Stunt is a little kid. Like, there's a difference. He's not Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio is a top caliber athlete, and he's got muscles, and he has the look. He's just short.
Even when he started,
Marco Stunt
he was twice his
is
size.
not any of that. Any of that. None of it. So I get it.
He's a good athlete.
But he can bump around and do some things in the ring. That doesn't mean he's a good athlete.
Marco Stunt would be the perfect 24/7 champion.
I mean, Drake Maverick is 10 times the athlete of Marco Stunt, okay?
And twice his size.
Yeah. Let's be honest here. I mean, I get where the criticizers are coming from, but it's all wrestling is subjective and everything's about perception.
But although he put on a good match.
And it was a good match. And yeah, I thought it was very entertaining, and he did a good job.
Yeah.
And it's a different time now. There's a lot of smaller. The average size of the wrestler is a lot smaller today than it was 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's 6'3", 6'4", 280 pounds.
Well, and that's going back to the whole
Castles.
suspend your, disbelief.
And I get
everything.
that when you see a guy like Marco Stunt in the ring against much larger athletes, it is harder to suspend your disbelief. But then again, a lot of wrestling companies and individual performers themselves are kind of looking at today's day and age in wrestling as like a comic book presentation where, like a Black Widow can just kick the shit out of anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what they're going for in some aspects of the wrestling scene. So I get that.
Yeah.
But I get both sides of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't criticize the guy for just being small. Criticize him when he starts fucking up. Because he's not he's not fucked up yet.
And that's really the only thing. Like going back to, and we'll get to Shorty G or whatever. That's like the only thing in society that's okay to shame people about anymore. You can't fat shame.
Can't slut shame.
You can't slut shame. You can't ugly shame. You can't race shame. But you can still criticize someone for being short, even though they have no control over that. That's still acceptable within society. I just find that kind of funny. That little side cast there. I don't know.
You sound a little butthurt.
It may, affect my life more than other people in this room.
I know what you're talking
Let's
about.
keep this short.
Ew. Santana and Ortiz defeated John Silver and Alex Reynolds in a very quick match.
The LA Experience.
Yes.
Now they're called Pride and Powerful.
Dude, they should have went with the LA Experience, man.
Yes.
That would have been the best name
Pride
ever.
and Powerful sounds like an LBGTQRSTUV move.
Or it sounds like a white power fucking group.
Pride and Powerful.
It sounds like a white power heavy metal band.
Let me just say that their fucking entrance music, their entrance music is fucking annoying.
Is dumb.
Fuck.
It was stuck in my head this morning.
It was driving me
Don't have
fucking
pride.
nuts.
You can't be powerful.
And just over and over again.
Does anyone notice too that Dustin Rhodes comes out to basically Green Day?
Yes.
Okay. I was like, oh, that's Green Day.
But yeah, it just fucking drove me nuts. And then when they were walking back up the entrance ramp and Jericho was doing a promo, the video promo, what were they saying?
We the best tag team.
The best.
The inner circle.
The best. Just kept. And you're trying to listen to Jericho's promo, but all you could hear was them in the background. Like somebody didn't fucking turn that mic off or whatever. And it made me cringe. That was one of my downvotes for
Also,
the night.
this is why they had Conan for so long in Impact. Because those guys,
Conan could talk for him.
Conan could talk for them, and when they have a
'Cause
lot of
Conan
mic,
can
they
talk.
don't shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I don't know. But regardless, moving on to we had the AEW Women's Championship match. Riho defeated Dr. Britt Baker, DMD.
Not a great match.
Yeah, it was okay.
That
but
was my piss break match.
Yeah.
This is like old school wrestling. for me.
Dr.
Women-
Britt Baker does not resonate with me.
No.
She does
Nope.
not sell shit. by the
She's
way.
not good.
No.
Period.
And I was hoping she was because they kind of talked her up like she was.
And like that's cool that you're a doctor and all, and I respect you have a degree, you went to school for all, and that's legit. That doesn't make me intimidated of you in the least. Like,
Right.
ooh, here comes the dentist to the ring to beat me up. Like, what the fuck kind of gimmick is that?
Do you remember Dr. Isaac Yankem, DDS?
Yeah, it didn't work
Yes.
then, and it
Right.
didn't work then, and it ain't fucking working now. Nobody gives a fuck if you're a dentist, all right? Like, that's
Isaac
stupid.
Yankem.
It's stupid.
Right, but she can be like the female Kane. We'll just call her Abel.
I thought we both got that Bible reference.
I wish her teeth were fucked up like Isaac Yankem. Like she was all hot and she'd smile and she had a fucked up grill.
Yeah, like think about that though. Isaac Yankem comes out, he's a dentist, and you already know he's a shitty dentist because he smiles, and you're like, no.
Yeah.
And Britt Baker's got those pearly whites. That's Adam Cole's baby.
I could totally see why he's fucking Tony Storm now.
Yeah, she's got a horse face.
Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page defeated Pac and John Moxley.
I enjoyed it.
What?
Well,
I enjoyed that
John
match.
Moxley helped though. He helped.
The match was pretty good to me. I mean, it wasn't great, but it was a good match.
All right, so I do have a question.
Yeah.
Was this? I don't really pay attention to like when they're announcing names. Was this the first week they were showing records under the names?
No, they've been doing it since week 1. They've been doing it actually since All Out.
I do like. Okay, so I guess my next it's a 2-part question. Sorry. So now there's a singles record and an overall record.
There's also a tag and a trios record as well.
Yep.
Okay.
So, but it kind of looked like they got rid of the tag and trios and just replaced it with the overall.
Well, it depends
I mean,
on what
I guess
type of,
depends,
it depends
yeah.
on what type of match you're going into.
Which
No, because I saw a graphic that said, I think it was about Darby Allin, and it said singles record.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a singles and overall. So singles, he was like 1-1, but in overall, he was 1-2-1. So then after he won, after he lost, he ended up being 2-2-1.
Well, you know what I would like to see? So you want to talk about wins and losses matter, and you want to put that graphic up, but let's see a graphic with a group of guys or a group of girls and see where they're at right now.
Oh, like a power
ranking
ranking?
system?
Yeah, like a power ranking.
I think
And
they-
maybe
I
they
think-
will,
I
but
think
Probably
implement
will
that.
end up doing that at some point.
But now,
So only episode 3.
do you think they do it like college football?
No,
Like a win is like if you beat Jericho in a
College
singles.
football is so complicated though with all the
Right, but okay,
divisions
like
and shit.
let's pretend Jericho's your champ. So
What do you
Jericho's
mean pretend? He
Alabama,
is the champ.
Alabama or Clemson, right?
Yeah.
That would be your Jericho. And then you have like a guy like Darby Allin. Like let's say Darby Allin won the match via DQ or something like that. Is that win?
A win is a win.
Does that mean more than say
It's
a
a-
win against?
it's a check in
Marco
the win
Stunt?
column.
You know what I mean?
I think it would have to be a win.
Like
is
if
a
you have
win
two guys with the
because-
same record, do you then look at difficulty of schedule of how they got to the ranking?
You mean like maybe records of opponents?
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Maybe you go to that.
Yeah.
Like you could have one guy who
I don't
beat
think you
like
go to
two
the
of
type
your
of win,
main
though.
eventers,
You probably-
and the other guy just beat 2 jobbers, but they're both 2-0.
You probably go with the ranking, the difficulty.
Or is that where the overall falls in?
I'd say they probably go with the difficulty of in that situation of each other's opponents
Yeah.
rather than how each other.
So they wouldn't
each
go
performer
into
got
like,
the win.
So they wouldn't go into like overall. Like okay, these guys have the same record, but they have a different overall record.
I don't know about that.
I
mean,
would like to know.
including the tag matches and stuff.
Yeah, because Jericho's like 2-0 in singles, but 4-0 in Overall.
Yeah. I would like to know, and I hope they kind of shed some light on that within the next couple weeks. Maybe after Full Gear, they will. Let us know what the fuck. Why do they matter? I mean, now you just say,
Okay,
well,
so-
here they matter. Here's their numbers.
But the graphics are dependent on what type of match you're going into.
Yeah.
So we'll have like if you went into a singles match, it says singles record, overall record. If you're going into a tag match, it'll say tag match, overall record, and then it'll say like trios. Or it depends on what type of match you're going into.
Right.
Unless it's a lights out match like they had on AEW Dark.
I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see, but I do hope that they start really shedding some light on what we're going to be expecting out of the whole wins and losses matter.
I said wait till we get to like week 10 before you figure out, and then from there figure out a power ranking system.
Yeah, and that'd be fine with that. I just want to know.
Patience.
Okay, so the Kenny Omega match with Moxley and Pac and all them. I thought the match was a good match. When Moxley and Omega pulled out the broom or the mop or whatever the fuck.
It was barbed wire broom. He's a cleaner.
And the bat. Was that a good? I kind of felt like that was a good way to get the match ended by Moxley bailing on Pac, and then that sets up Pac and Moxley next week. They're going to be, in a match next week, and then now Pac did have to take the pin. That was the first pin he's taken in that company.
But also was in a tag match, so it won't affect his singles record.
Right. Joe, is that a good way to end that match?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got no problems with that.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice Pac getting injured?
He cut his hand or whatever.
Yeah, cut his hand on the barbed wire.
He cut his finger on the barbed wire bat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that because I'm like, where the hell did that blood
That's
come
what
from?
I was. I had to rewind. I'm
I
like,
just
where is
where's that blood on the
coming
mat
from?
from? And then I look at it like, oh.
I was like,
Pac
oh,
lit-
it's when he
Pac-
threw the bat out
threw
of the
bat,
ring.
He fucked his finger up.
So at least we know they're using, like, unlike WWE, their barbed wire
Real barbed
actually
wire.
cuts you. You know, they don't round off the edges or whatever.
Yeah, like I say, I kind of have a feeling they were gonna do that with the thumbtacks thing over the last during the Cracker Barrel match.
Yeah.
No, AEW's kind of proven they're not
pussies.
They're not. They don't shy away from blood like WWE does. So.
And then the main event, we had the Philadelphia Street Fight for the AEW World Championship. Chris Jericho, who's El Champion, defeated Darby Allin. This match, like Joe said earlier, a lot of people were
I saw
criticizing
some
that
tweets
match.
and people on social media or whatever, like saying that they're losing the crowd, that this match is killing the show, and I didn't get that feel from it.
Actually, I thought
it was all right, man.
I thought it was a great way to showcase Darby Allin, especially when he had him his hand, when he pretty much started kicking his ass with his hands tied behind his back.
Right, and it's not like Darby just got up and just kind of kicked him and did a couple drop kicks. He was fucking climbing.
Yeah, I
ropes
thought
and,
that was. I don't see any reason why people were bitching on it, because when Darby was tied up and then all the shit he did with his hands
behind his fucking
that is
back.
extremely hard to do. He climbed the ropes with no hands
He
all the way
also
to the top,
He
like
springboarded off the middle rope.
Yeah, and usually when people do that, they grab the top rope just to
stabilize themselves.
Right.
Like so yeah, Smitty's right. Like that was a great
Showcase for
opportunity for Darby to showcase his skills.
Yeah.
And I thought it was super impressive everything he did while he was tied up, dude.
I thought so too. I thought it was a great, way to put him over as a
Great way to beat him
Yeah.
without making him look weak.
Right.
Yep. Because it's allowed in a street fight. Jericho can do that. He's not breaking no rules.
Also, the fact that Jericho gave this kid the biggest rub of his
Yeah,
career.
Jericho sold for him, sold good for him, you know? And that was the biggest rub of Darby's career, for sure. But by far.
By far.
Even though Darby wrestled Cody, it's still a bigger
It's a bigger
deal from Jericho.
especially when it's a championship on the line.
Yeah.
I don't see how
The
people,
first ever championship defense.
I don't see how people were talking about that the crowd wasn't. I thought they were.
I think people just like to go online and fucking complain.
Yeah, like bitch about it, and because they're
Also,
fucking.
you gotta
up
love the fact
WWE's
that
ass.
you gotta love the fact that the inner circle comes out with all the bubbly at the end of the match. Also, by the way, I found out why Jake Hager is not actually wrestling.
Is he on a no compete still from
He's
WWE?
got a Bellator.
No, he's
fight.
got a Bellator fight on the 23rd.
Oh, and he can't risk getting injured.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So we may see Hager more active, possibly after Full Gear.
Yeah, which fine.
That's
with-
fine.
Whatever. But yeah, overall, I mean, AEW Dynamite was a solid show again. They're, the ratings went down a hair from last week, but they're maintaining that 1 million viewership, and that to me, that's kind of what's expected. They're not a really big company yet, and people,
See, then what next week we got?
They've had 3 shows on TV.
Yeah.
To be hovering around 1 million, that's fucking impressive for
Yeah.
your third fucking show.
Hell
all
yeah.
right? Like, that's fucking good.
Yep.
And honestly,
agree.
I'm looking forward to next week because you got the semis of the tag tournament, and I'm really.
That Mox and Pac that match, that's going to be a draw. That's
Yep.
going to
That's
draw
a
in some
draw.
viewers because that's 2 old, WWE guys. That's a casual viewer draw. Hey, I know those guys.
And those are also 2 guys that anybody that knows in the former WWE, those 2 guys that were misused throughout that company.
Severely.
Why
Severely.
are Dean Ambrose and the man that everybody forgot wrestling this week?
Why are Neville?
Yeah, and the
Supposed to
tag
be-
team. What?
Yeah, go on.
Tag team tournament semifinals. Is this? I mean, are we setting up for SCU and Lucha Brothers in the final?
No, I think
I
we're
don't
setting up a
fucking
private
know
party.
anymore,
I think we're
'cause
setting up
I
a private
thought-
party. Dark Order.
Yeah.
I thought at the beginning.
That's what
of
I thought
all
from the
of this-
beginning.
What SCU?
No, I think I said that in our chat somewhere. I said it somewhere.
Private Party, Dark Order?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Private Party would become the first ever AEW tag champions.
Nas.
I thought at the beginning of this thing, I thought it was going to lead to the Lucha Brothers and
Bucks.
the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I don't know. At this point, and this is what I like about this is I don't know.
So what
Yeah.
what teams are wrestling next week
So
again?
next week you got SCU versus Dark Order, and you got the Lucha Bros versus Private Party.
That's gonna be fucking. killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm loving about AEW is because they're
Not the Dark Order match. I mean the other.
Oh no, that Lucha
Yeah,
Bros.
but either way, you're looking at both these matches, and either team could win.
Yeah. And that's why I'm not like, with
Unfortunately, Dark Order is going over SCU. It's going to hurt my butt.
WWE, I can sit there and pick the card like within 30 seconds and just kind of like bam, 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 bam. But now I'm like, I don't fucking know.
But like, honestly, like with the Bucks being in charge of the tag division, they're trying to get their teams over. Teams like not many people know who the Dark Order is. Not many
Right.
people know who Private Party is. If you're like me and Joe, and you've been watching wrestling pretty much all your life, you know who Frankie Kazarian is. You know who Christopher Daniels is.
Yeah.
The only the newest face you have within that SCU stable is Scorpio Sky.
I will seriously.
Yeah, but see, like I'm your WWE resident, and I'm a casual fan everywhere else, all up until now. But I knew who Christopher Daniels was. I knew who Frankie Kazarian was. I knew who Scorpio Sky was.
Did you used to watch TNA back in the day?
No, not even. I mean, I did, but these guys were so over in ROH and Impact that you couldn't go online and not catch a clip of one of their matches. So they're just known.
Yeah, any news, any wrestling thing you follow, you're going to be reading about.
Yeah, like, and I knew them before they were a trio. Like, I knew them when they were all individual wrestlers.
Kazarian and Daniels been together since what?
Yeah,
04?
they used to be called the Addiction.
Well, right.
That's before the Addiction. They were
But
back in 04.
I mean,
they
like,
were
this
wrestling
is
together.
like you go online and it's almost going down the wormhole, because this is like when Kevin Owens was signed. Like, and I didn't know much about him. I did my research on him, but down the rabbit hole, here's this guy, Christopher Daniels from ROH. That, you know what I mean? Like, you just start to learn all these guys. And now, like, I was actually talking to my future mother-in-law, and she goes, man, I watched that AEW show, and I didn't like it. And I go, all right, so you didn't like it because it was a shit show, or you didn't like it because you didn't know anybody? She goes, yeah, I didn't know a single person. I'm like, yeah, that kind of hurts. I go, but just to let you know, Jericho's their champion. Oh, Chris Jericho's on their show?
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, I see why he's your champ now. Because now,
I've always seen why. He should be the champion.
Right.
But he's going to bring eyes to the show as a veteran and a former WWE guy.
Yep.
But I mean, that's your reaction to your casual fan. Like, oh, there's this new wrestling show, but I don't know who anybody is. So it's hard to get invested into.
Right.
So, I mean, and I've been there because when
But
this
you do
first
know
started.
there are a lot of people over there. I mean, you know Cody, you know Dustin.
I do, but she doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, she's the
Jericho,
definition of your casual
you know
fan.
Pac, you know Mox, you know Jake Hagar, you know those guys.
I think Moxley's a big draw for them too, especially getting.
Yeah, because she's like, oh, Dean Ambrose.
He's
is on this
definitely the
show.
second biggest name in there
Yeah.
under Jericho, for sure. He's a bigger name than Cody.
Okay, so all that AEW talk, now we gotta fucking talk about SmackDown.
It's like we just got really high and then just.
I know.
One last thing about it, I just want to mention, if SCU beats Dark Order next week, I'll be super happy. That's it.
Yeah, I would agree for sure.
You're
I'm not a
gonna give me
big
a
Dark
tissue?
Order fan at all.
Creepy perverts.
I'm out of here. Have a good show, guys.
I should have saved AEW for last because I know that would have,
Been more fun.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about SmackDown for that long. I mean,
you put together a show like the WWE. Like, we're just gonna kill it, and then we're just gonna keep killing it. Keep going down.
Fuck my life.
Start low and keep going lower.
I know, 'cause we hit the fun part of the show.
Start at the bottom and keep digging.
You're digging a hole,
So
son.
farther down the hole we go. Bye, Nas.
Bye, guys.
He's going to dig his own hole. Intercontinental Championship match. Roman Reigns was defeated by Shinsuke Nakamura by disqualification. King Corbin came down and hit him with his scepter, and then I'm like, okay,
it was a good little match up until that.
Until then,
It was decent.
I
I just like. I
figured-
mean, I like seeing Nakamura just being on
featured?
TV, just being featured.
Which I think is dumb as hell. Like okay, Intercontinental Champion. This is the second oldest championship in your entire company.
Very prestigious.
Very prestigious, and like honestly, I'm glad to see it back on television.
I'm glad to see that.
On.
That's a great title for Nakamura to have because he had that title in New Japan as well, I hope he holds that title for a good run.
I think you could elevate it if they actually use him more, though.
Yeah, I want to see it used
me
more.
too.
Yep.
I agree. Yep.
So that kind of set up, some more participants in the Ric Flair Hogan match, which we'll get to. Shorty Gable beat Curtis Axel, and after the match, he did a little promo about don't hold people back that are short, and be happy with yourself. And now he's Shorty G.
Be a star. Is that still a thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've got Shorty G, which apparently has been trademarked. So they've been
months ago
thinking about that for a while.
Well, let's shorten that. That was the thing that
the brain trust of the elite, no pun intended, WWE.
That's good shit.
Yeah.
Shorty, trademark it right fucking now. Before someone else thinks of it, God damn it.
I thought the promo was all right until it got to the end.
Yeah, his promo was good until he said, because they told him, you're going to go out there and you're going to declare yourself
Shorty G, and it'll be some good shit.
He said, let's shorten that up. I'm Shorty G. Like, why do you sound like that's like a 70s porno now, dude?
Chad, I like Chad Gable. He's an excellent wrestler. Like
Brian Alvarez on Twitter.
Why did he cut his hair? He looks like a little dork now. I thought he looked super cool when he had his long hair.
Yeah.
And now he just looks like a little dork.
But I like what Brian Alvarez put on Twitter. He tweeted, we're not going to define him as a former Olympian. We're not going to define him as one of the best in-ring workers in WWE today. We're going to define him by his height.
Yep.
Even though they put the stats up when he comes down about how he was at the 2012 Olympics and, blah, blah, blah.
It's the fucking dick and fart joke mentality of Vince McMahon, dude.
Yeah.
It really is. That's all it is.
And dick and fart jokes are funny when you do them right.
And they don't do them right.
Yeah.
It's not easy to do a dick and fart joke right anymore. They're fucking played out.
That or somebody gets offended.
This is a very elementary level of, creating character, and it's just like elementary, primitive. I mean,
I do like Chad Gable too.
Second grade.
I like him too, but with the name, I mean, to me, it kind of loses some credibility. And
dude, it's like backtracking to the Viking Raiders winning the tag belts. Like, that's great. They're ass kickers. They deserve it, but I still got a sour taste in my mouth about them. That's not their fault at all, because they got renamed, the Viking Experience to the Viking Raiders, and from their real names, which were just fine, to Eric and fucking Ivar.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't fucking back that, dude. I can't get behind that. Like, how do you get behind Shorty fucking G, man? Right. Come on.
It's a porno name, dude.
I mean, he's really good too, dude.
Yeah.
It's another fucking waste. Another stupid ass gimmick. Like, what is with them in humiliating their own talent?
Right.
Why? They do it to Kanellis. Bennett. That's humiliating, dude. They've humiliated
Rusev.
that guy since he signed his name. Rusev,
Yep.
Gable,
The young cooks, I like to call them.
They're fucking. What did they get out of literally humiliating their own roster? I don't understand it.
Yep. And it's never.
It's not. That's not good. Like,
No.
that's not ever gonna get anyone over. You've killed Rusev, who was awesome.
Yep.
Gable. I mean, you're killing him. You're killing him.
It's only a matter of time.
Bennett never even got off the fucking ground. They never even gave that motherfucker an opportunity at nothing. Eric Young, they haven't given that motherfucker nothing. Like, look what EC3. They literally humiliate their own talent.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
Well, and they make a big deal, especially with EC3. Oh, we're bringing him up from the NXT roster, and then you've seen him twice.
They made a fool out of him.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even a fan of him myself, but they did him dirty.
Yeah. Well, I am a Chad Gable fan. He's a good worker, and
They're
now
doing him dirty.
Brian Alvarez said it, one of your best in-ring performers in the company right now.
And then you're gonna, you could have turned him into
Shorty G,
the next Rey Mysterio, with as far as his stature and his height and his skill level and all that.
He's a hybrid of Angle and he's like a hybrid of early Angle and Mysterio.
And speaking of Mysterio, there's another one that they humiliated, made look really bad. So Rey Mysterio couldn't stick up for himself or his son, so he had to go get big brother Cain Velasquez.
Yeah.
Just made Mysterio look like a little kid, like a little bitch. You know, like, oh, that's the guy, go get him. Like, this is a fucking Hall of Famer. This is Rey fucking Mysterio.
Right.
You don't fucking do that to him, man.
Mysterio's going into every professional wrestling Hall of Fame there is.
Every fucking one. You're right. You don't do shit like that to him, man. Just like you did him dirty in the Rumble when you brought him out 30th.
30 instead of
in the one where Roman Reigns won and everybody wanted Daniel Bryan to win, and then they brought Rey out 30th and got him booed out of the building to no fault of his own. Like how many times? How can you keep doing your talent like this, man?
Yeah, I don't understand it.
This
either.
is why there was a call for an alternative, and now we have so much. We have NWA Power, we have AEW. Impact is getting better. Once again, I'll put just like Bound for Glory.
Not only better, but on a bigger and better platform, being on Access TV, which their parent company owns.
Yeah, so like, what you got? Impact. You have New Japan. You have Ring of Honor. There's so much. It's like
legitimate
alternatives now. Like WWE.
All those places you just mentioned, the work rate is like the same or better in all of them.
Yeah.
All those places, the wrestlers there are excellent in-ring workers, very capable. You know, all it is, the only differences are like production and the money behind it.
And I don't give a fuck about that, to be honest.
Right.
Give me
Like
a good
everyone's
product.
making a big deal about the reason NXT's viewers are going down and they're, you know, because they're in Full Sail and, you know, they're not
Fuck that.
selling out these
Fuck
big
that.
arenas. That's like the last fucking thing on my mind when I'm watching
Yes.
NXT.
They
Are
could-
you
yep.
fucking kidding me?
There could be one
I
row
don't
in
give
front
a
of them,
fuck who's
and-
in that building.
Right.
Like, that's just fucking, to me, that's like, I don't know, idiot fans nitpicking, looking for reasons why they don't have the same number of viewers as AEW or something like.
Right.
That never occurred to me as being a reason why, because they operate out of a small studio. Like that makes no fucking difference to me.
Hell,
I really don't give a shit.
Impact runs out of small venues.
Look what Power's running out of now.
Power running out of a small studio.
All right, we're gonna talk about Power. We'll talk about them in a minute. Let's finish SmackDown. So we had a 6-pack challenge to determine the number one contender for the women's title. Before that, we had Miz TV with Bayley and Sasha Banks coming out.
Which was excellent.
Yes.
Until
Bailey quoted Vince McMahon.
Did she?
Life sucks and then you die.
no, I thought Bailey's promo was awesome, and they just killed it with typical WWE style.
Yeah.
You know, bunch of different girls coming out one right after another to set up a multi-women match. Typical, same old WWE. We've been
Good shit.
and like they totally killed her promo too. Like I thought she was doing great, and they came out like, well, that was an awesome promo, and now you just fucking WWE'd it.
And the match.
I love the way that Miz almost tried, like, also throughout the Miz segment, like, Miz literally start digging into Bay, like, oh, so what are you, a not talking champion? What, Sasha's your Paul Heyman now?
Yeah.
Like,
And
I feel like
Sasha,
Miz,
hold up a minute. Sasha did not like that.
I think the fact that Miz brought the better part of both of those ladies out in that promo.
Yeah. And then the match to follow, I fucking forgot about it. I mean, Nikki Cross is the number one contender. She had come out just before the match and said, you know, I want to play. And then she ended up winning the match.
I give you something to smile about, and I give you a big hug.
A big hug
A bag one.
with a side of haggis.
I would not make fun of her because I actually would probably fear her actual husband.
She's thick.
Oh, yeah.
Who's Nikki Cross's husband?
Killian
Killian
Dane.
Dane.
Really? Oh. All right. She is thick with 2 C's. Then we move to the main event, Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan defeating Shinsuke Nakamura and Baron Corbin. Reigns was announced as the new team captain of Team Hogan, and Daniel Bryan pinned Nakamura after a knee. So I don't think Team Hogan's complete yet. I know they have.
No, both teams are set. I was just on. So both teams are set. It was
So is Bryan on Team Hogan?
I think Bryan is.
Okay.
Let me make sure. Let me double check this because I was looking at it last night, and they had featured what are news.
And then Bryan they just kind of stopped him from what was an excellent heel run and just turned him face with no explanation.
Yep, just.
Good guy again.
Here it is.
Yep.
No, here it is. So Team Flair isn't complete. Hogan's team is complete. Team Hogan is Roman Reigns, Rusev, Ricochet, Chad Gable, because I refuse to call him another one, and Ali. Team Flair is Randy Orton, King Corbin, Bobby Lashley, Shinsuke Nakamura, and the last person has not been announced yet.
Well, I'm sure we'll find out tomorrow. Now, with that being said, so that's leading us into Saudi Arabia pay-per-view, Crown Jewel on October 31st. It's at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon because they're over on the other side of the world. So we have a Team Flair versus Team Hogan match that Smitty just talked about. We also have the biggest tag team tornado match. Turmoil, whatever you want to call it. That's going to include the Viking Raiders versus the Revival versus the New Day versus Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode.
Oh, the best in the World Cup type deal.
Yep, versus Heavy Machinery, Lucha House Party, Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, the OC and the B team, and yes, the winners will be crowned the greatest tag team in the world. And hopefully Shane McMahon does not try and stomp.
Greatest tag team in the world, but not the tag team champions.
Right. It makes
Perfect
total
sense.
sense. Total sense.
Perfect sense.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's all that Saudi money.
We're also going to have.
What happens in Saudi stays in Saudi.
They're going to get like a big trophy or.
Yeah. They say best tag team World Cup. Like.
Yeah, it'll be a stupid cup trophy that'll get dragged around to matches for the next few months.
That won't mean shit.
And get used as a stupid prop, and then we'll just go away.
Yep, and everybody will forget about it like it never happened. Falls Count Anywhere. There has to be a winner. The match cannot be stopped for any reason. Seth Rollins versus The Fiend, and then the WWE Championship match for Brock Lesnar versus.
Oh, you're missing something there too.
Huh?
You're missing something there.
Oh no, Braun Strowman and Tyson Fury, and I see that Cesaro is going to be fighting Mansoor Al-Shahayal.
Mansoor, just say Mansoor because he's NXT. He's one of those NXT guys.
He only wrestles over there though.
Yeah,
you never see him, dude.
And Mansoor has had 3 matches on NXT, and the only time you ever see him outside is right before Crown Jewel.
No, Cesaro's going over there to do the job to this fuckstick.
Sure.
Mansoor's not bad. It's just
fuck him. Give a shit about him.
I know you care about Cesaro.
We will
fuck
not.
Mansoor. That guy hasn't drawn a fucking nickel in his life.
Was he one of the dudes that they introduced at one of the Crown Jewels as like the the developmental? Because they had a couple of those.
No,
guys
I think
in
he
the
actually
ring.
wrestled that night. I think he won some Battle Royal Rumble bullshit thing. And then that meant absolutely nothing also because you didn't see him ever again after that.
Literally got him an NXT. He got him an NXT contract where he's pretty much chilling the PC.
Yeah, that's just another political move to sign a Saudi Arabian dude, you know.
Oh, like making Jinder Mahal WWE champ for half a year, was it?
Yeah, it was. It's the same thing.
He went over to India and, we're not going to be doing scorecards for Crown Jewel as far as I know. I don't think they've ever done a scorecard.
It's not even fucking worth it.
Yeah.
It's just a glorified house show.
Yep, I'm good with that. Okay, so outside of WWE, we were talking a few minutes ago about the way that people kind of perceive wrestling, and look at the production.
Rocking with Dockin, man.
And NXT's only got a few people in there, and blah blah blah. Well, okay, so let's talk about NWA Power with a house of maybe 75 people. In the crowd?
50 people, 75 people, something like that.
Maybe 100 max.
I'm loving NWA Power right now. It's only 2 shows in, and I love the promos they're doing. They have the little podium. They've got a couple commercials in between that don't really mean a whole lot.
Yeah, I think they're just kayfabe
commercials.
commercials. Which is actually kind of funny.
Yeah, it's great.
Teach me how to wrestle.
The wrestling school. What was the other one?
Tire irons and
waffles.
Yeah, tire irons and waffles, and then Austin Idol's wrestling school.
Yeah.
Teach me how to wrestle, Austin Idol. Teach me.
It's a great show. I like that it's only an hour. I'm really impressed with it. The in-ring work is solid. For the most part, these guys are really good. There's good talent there so far that I see.
I marked the fuck out when I heard a certain voice.
Are you talking about Mr. Anderson?
Yeah. Like, so I'm a big fan of Colt Cabana. I'm a fan of Mr. Anderson. But he's not been doing much like lately.
Yeah. See, I'm not familiar.
I knew Colt did some stuff with them and over there, and he was a North American champ for a minute and lost it to James Storm, who has it right now. But I didn't know that Colt was like that much of a fixture over there. Like, they feature him in the intro reel, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know he was like a regular player over there. Apparently he is, and so good for him. And yeah, it was cool seeing Mr. Anderson, Kennedy, whatever.
Yeah, that was really cool because I didn't expect that at all.
Well, like during some of the promo videos, I thought I saw his face, but I'm like, that couldn't. And then I'm watching on Tuesday, and I've got a partner, and it's Mister. I'm like, oh my.
Yeah. They're gonna have a pay-per-view. I think it's
sold out already.
Early December.
Mm-hmm. It's already sold out.
Yeah. And where's it gonna be?
Atlanta.
I mean, in Atlanta. Is it gonna be in the studio or?
No, I think they got a different building.
Okay.
But
I don't know
they said
how
it's
many
Atlanta
seats
still.
it hold.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I think is doing well enough. Like it sold out a small venue very quickly.
Yeah.
But it's not at its studio. I don't think it's a different venue. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure how many seats.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm really enjoying that show. If you haven't had a chance, definitely check it out. Tuesdays at 6:05 on their YouTube. Just look up NWA Power, Power with 3 R's. Yeah, it's definitely solid.
Allison K's match was good. That's one of Michigan's own right there.
Well, and I like that you can really tell that their promos obviously aren't scripted. And who was it? Eddie Kingston came out on that first show.
Former guest of this show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yep.
He was
Okay.
on the show at one point.
So we're a little biased towards him. We like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he can cut a killer promo.
Yeah, it was
And
great.
he's fucking real.
Yeah,
It did. It felt
he's
right
fucking
from the
real.
heart.
I wasn't. I was absent for that podcast, but I did listen to it, and some of the shit he was saying, man. Like he said something like
he's about the street pro.
He called them the Sesame Street Prophets to talk about really growing up on the streets. He's like, man, I
ripped them apart.
He's like, I see someone at the club flashing around some stacks. I'm gonna be waiting outside the bathroom for him to run his pockets. I was like, you know what? I believe this motherfucker.
Yeah.
I fucking believe
So
him.
my thing is like, we got up there with him. I'm like, my nigga.
Yeah, that dude, he's real.
Yeah,
he's real.
You can tell. You can definitely tell.
And then Homicide is just.
He's Homicide.
Yeah, Homicide is Homicide. Homicide's probably been one of my favorite Latin
Homicide's real too, man. Like,
Yeah.
those are two guys you really wouldn't want to fuck with in real life.
There's
for real.
there's a reason you don't give Homicide a microphone.
No, because
He does Brock Lesnar promos.
yeah, you can't trust what he's gonna say.
I've heard of excuse me. I had heard of Homicide previously. I
Original
was
LAX.
Well, I was exposed to
Him
him.
and Hernandez, that was a great team.
We went to GCW when we went to Starcast, and he was there. He was part of one of the matches, and
Yeah, I saw him walking
was-
around with Nick Gage at Starcast and Eddie Kingston.
I saw him at Kingston around Starcast.
so yeah. I mean, seriously, check that show out if you haven't. I've got high hopes for it. And it's getting a lot of reviews from big names like
The Rock.
The Rock had said, "Hey, check this out, Corey Graves, whatever." These people that are in, that other one, yeah, loving it. That's really just about it. We're gonna be. I did kind of want to talk about the whole Mike Kanellis.
Asking for his release.
Yep.
Was he granted it?
I don't think they granted it just yet.
I mean, I can't blame him. Look what they've done to him, man. He might not even be able to recover from this, even in a different promotion, dude. They've cucked him so bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
They really clipped his fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah.
They literally.
You see the post I put about what Rusev on Kanellis on the Bucks? They called it Young Cucks.
Yeah.
That's
pretty spot on.
Yeah. Well, and so he posted on his Twitter the other day a lengthy post. I'm not going to read it, but he talked about how working one day a week isn't going to cut it for him. He talked about how he wants his daughter to see him bust his ass. He can't tell his daughter bust your ass when he's not doing it himself. So I get it, and I do. It is shitty. It goes back to what we were talking about with all these guys, and they're just making fools out of them.
And people were saying, like, when the whole thing first started about, Maria being pregnant and they really started humiliating Mike Kanellis, people were, like, talking about how entertaining of TV that was. And I'm like, well, yeah, but you just killed Kanellis. Like, you fucking killed the guy.
You emasculated this man.
You fucked that guy up. Like, hope it was worth it for a 10-minute segment that really had nothing to build from after that.
No, the only thing that came out of this, that whole entire fucking segment for those weeks, is the return of Rusev. And
Yeah,
the return of Rusev,
and they humiliate him too.
Yep.
with the same fucking angle in Bobby Lashley. Only thing is different is Lana's getting the BBC now.
I just don't understand the mentality behind that kind of booking.
Yeah.
Is that just Vince McMahon playing with his toys? Look what I can do with this guy. Let me pull the
Look
strings.
at these strings.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ruin his life because I can.
One, like it is, like you're not doing anything with it. You're just filling time. Like that's why I'm liking
And
shows.
they're not granting people releases anymore because they don't want them to sign nowhere else. So they'll
Exactly.
just sign people and sit them.
Yeah.
Like what they did with Harper. You know,
Oh, yeah, 'cause AEW
Harper's wanted out of that company so bad they wouldn't let him go.
When I think these guys are going to really start catching wind of that, like, oh, cool, I'm going to be signed to WWE, but I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to be belittled and made to look like an asshole.
Dude, WWE used to be the be-all, end-all destination for a professional wrestler.
Right.
If you're in the business, that's your goal. I don't think it has that same appeal right now.
No.
I think
that's the big money place. That's it. You want a fat check? That's where you go.
yeah.
But if you really want to focus on your craft and do what you love and even still make money, there are so many other options now that these guys are choosing from.
I mean, AEW is paying really good money
Yeah.
too.
Impact is paying really good money as well.
I know guys make some pretty good money over in New Japan too.
And I mean, if it's the way it is now, what's going to happen
Or
6
AAA.
months from now? And I'm a hot free agent. Why would I want to go to WWE and not get used? I mean, or if I do get used, I'm going to be made to look like I fucking,
You don't look retarded. Let's say.
yeah, I have sex with animals. Or,
They're going to make you look
know.
bad.
Yeah.
Before you leave that company at one point or another, they are going to make you look bad.
Yep.
I don't know why that's their goal, but it is. Like,
they're the only.
especially someone who maybe has built up a name somewhere else. McMahon don't like that.
Yep.
So he's gonna sign you, give you a little push for a little while, and then fuck you and just bury you into oblivion.
I feel like the way WWE likes, like they protect a handful of people.
Yeah.
It's a small handful of people they protect, and everybody else is just there.
It's sad.
And it's sad because you have one of the most talented rosters you've ever had in
It's
your
got to
entire
be
company.
a very, very toxic work environment, I imagine.
I couldn't imagine it. Ugh.
To having every little aspect of your craft micromanaged, that would drive me fucking insane. I couldn't handle it.
It's like me being inside of a kitchen and they're like, "Oh, I want you to make this dish, but you only have
Yeah,
these."
and then you got the
ingredients."
bartender sitting behind you telling you how to do your job like every step of the way. Like, fuck you, man.
Right.
I'm here because I know how to fucking do this, okay?
Yeah, so that's what, like, I think mostly that's why the cry for the alternative is out was put out there. And now it's here.
Yeah.
Pick and choose. You don't just have to be like, we do this. So to a certain degree, WWE's now become a chore to most of us at times.
I've been
Yeah, man,
feeling
because
like that. Yeah.
I'm way behind on shit that I actually like, because I'm trying to keep up with stupid ass WWE just for this show. Like I'm way behind on New Japan. I'm way behind on Ring of Honor. I know Ring of Honor's struggling, but they still have good in-ring wrestling that I like to watch.
I like Roosh as champion over there.
Roosh is excellent. They got tons of good guys. I mean, they got Jay
Dylan
Lethal,
Enterprises.
Silas Young. They got Marty Skrull, PCO, Dalton Castle. They got tons of talent over there.
And then Impact, like I like to. I'm an Impact guy. I've been waiting for Impact to shape up for so long, and it's finally happening.
And next week, Tuesday or this week?
Next
The
week,
first non-tape.
the first. Well, it's still taped, but
new
Yeah.
current episode.
post Bound for Glory, because Bound for Glory is tonight, and that card is stacked actually.
Okay, so is it going to be on Access this Tuesday?
Oh, not Bound for Glory, but
No, just like
Impact
oh,
is
Impact,
it's
yes.
always on Access on Tuesdays now.
Okay.
It
I wasn't sure.
Has been for about a month now.
Well, I knew that they had played like old pay-per-view once or twice
Okay,
for
so,
those first
the-
2 weeks.
the way-
but,
the-
Yeah,
so-
that's what they've been doing until, like what Smitty's saying, until after this pay-per-view tonight, just showing older clips.
so
so,
now, wait, now this
the first
Tuesday. So this Tuesday will be like their weekly show.
yeah, their weekly
Okay.
show, which has been airing on Twitch on Fridays.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but like say, the first week they had just a kind of a recap of what was going on, and then they had like the last 2 or 3 pay-per-views, and now this week was they did the last I think it was a Slammiversary.
They're just showing some of their showcase matches, trying to get fans.
Yeah,
And then Bound for
cool.
Glory. Bound for Glory has a really good card. I'm looking at. Cause last night, because there's a 5-way ladder match for the X Division Championship, and the last man got filled in last night.
Dang, I kind of want to see
Ace
that now.
Romero.
Yeah, that's cool.
You guys remember Ace Romero from the battle
The All-In
All In Battle Royal?
Yeah.
Big guy.
The big
We're going
fat
to
guy.
see him in a side of a 5-way ladder match. And Tessa Blanchard's involved in that match as well for the X Division Championship.
I kind of want to see that now. I got a hockey game tonight.
Then so the 5-way ladder match is X Division champion Dave Christ of OVE. An OVE, as much we praise MJF. Sami Callihan is probably one of the best heels in professional wrestling right now. Sami Callihan fused with women. He hit Melissa Santos with a bottle, even though that'll be something when I get to the main event of this card. But so we got the X Division champions: Ace Romero, Dave Chris, Daga, Tessa Blanchard, and
Daga's really good.
Yeah, Daga was one of the guys from AAA that he did so well.
I think he worked in Ring of Honor a little bit.
So,
I've seen him before.
He's been with AAA for a while. And
I've seen him before, yeah. Or he was on Lucha Underground, wasn't he?
He was on Lucha
That's where I
Underground.
saw him. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's really fucking good.
So we got Dave Chris, Ace Romero, Ace Romero, Tessa Blanchard, Daga, and Ace Austin. So those are the 5 people
in that 5-way.
In that 5-way ladder match.
Was RVD on the card?
RVD is on the card. The tag team titles were owned by the North.
Versus RVD and Sabu?
No, it's RVD and Rhino, and it's a 3-way tag team match. It's RVD and Rhino, the North, which is all Ethan Page and the Walker Weapon Jason Alexander.
A couple of Michigan boys, RVD and Rhino.
So Josh Alexander and so you got Josh Alexander and Ethan Page, the North, a couple of Canadian boys versus
a couple of Michigan boys.
A couple of Michigan boys and RVD and Rhino and Willie Mack and Rich Swann are tagging together in a 3-way for.
That's where Rick Swann went.
Yeah,
What's Sabu doing? I heard he was booked for this.
So Sabu was actually on the last Impact. They were supposed to fill up the last spot for
another Michigan guy from Bombay, Michigan. Sabu.
So him and he and Rohit Raju, who was also a former guest on our show,
friend of the show. Yep.
They had a no DQ match that ended in a double count out because neither one could answer the 10 count.
That already happened though.
Yeah, that already happened. So during
do we get to see that? Is that going to air on Access or something?
It was on Twitch on Friday.
All right, then this should be on my DVR then.
So then so pretty much there was a show last night and Ace Romero, and they pretty much announced like whoever wins this kind of like battle royale type deal will take the last spot since it wasn't filled on Impact television, and Ace Romero got the last spot.
Go.
So for the women's championship, Tenille Dashwood is taking on Taya Valkyrie for the Knockouts championship, which is their women's title, and we'll say Taya Valkyrie's great, and she's the wife of John Morrison. Let's say you got they have this thing called Pick Your Shot Gauntlet, which is like 30 people. It's like 21 people gauntlet. Eddie Edwards is starting the gauntlet, and I forgot the new guy's name with the Desi Hit Squad. He's got the like number 29 spot or 21 spot, which is the last spot, and it's like literally a gauntlet. Whoever wins this gauntlet gets a pick their shot at any champion within the company.
Okay.
Main event. I'll just skip over to the main event because the main event is Sami Callihan versus Brian Cage for the Impact World Championship. And the way they built this feud up has been excellent, and and just the way they built the story.
Is Brian Cage healthy, or is he?
Brian Cage is healthy at this point.
He's not injured or working through an injury.
He's been back for like good 2-3 months now.
All right.
Like Michael Elgin has a match with a big Japanese guy. I just can't think of his name right now. I don't have it in front of me.
Well, with that, I think we're going to call it a day. But with what you said, though, real quick before we go, the last few weeks, it has seemed a little bit like a chore, more so than ever, to watch Raw, SmackDown, not so much NXT. But with the options that we have between Impact, AEW, now Power. Those are some of the ones that I would have easier access to. Not necessarily, I'd love to see Ring of Honor and New Japan and all that, but
New Japan has a show on
Ring of Honor's on. It's syndicated. It's on like whatever your channel 20 is.
Okay.
Is that WB or I don't know.
I don't even know what.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's on like I think it's on like Saturday morning at like 3:00 in the morning or something.
But no, New Japan has a show on Access.
Yeah, New Japan is on
Saturdays.
Access.
Yeah, Saturdays.
Yeah.
Access has a lot of wrestling now. They've
Yeah.
got
Wow.
New Japan, WoW, and Impact.
So
And I think they got World of Sport from England, actually.
oh shit.
Which is Progress, right?
So yeah,
So it's like all music and wrestling over there.
yeah, pretty sweet channel.
Yeah, right? But it is it's nice to have these alternatives. And when I first started the show, I was, obviously mostly WWE. All WWE.
You became a
at that point.
GC. We know that you are a GCW fan now.
And now I'm just kind of flipping the script. Now WWE's taking a back seat to all these other ones, and I'm happy about it. So
when I say Impact, it's been a while since I say Impact is a nice reprieve from watching WWE at times.
yeah. Well, before we go though, I do want to mention that you go to breakingdownthering.com. We have new apparel that's up there. I know Mikey made mention of that before, but
Oh, and Nas was wearing one of them too.
Yep, Nas had one of our hoodies on. You can get hoodies, T-shirts, in almost any color you can think of. Nas, I talked to him before the show about the quality of it. He said it's super soft material. So yeah, we've got
SAWFT, soft.
Yeah, a few different logos that you can choose from, a lot of different colors. So make sure you head on over to our website at breakingdownthering.com. You can also get to it from our Facebook page. Follow us on all of our social medias. We're going to be doing our Big 4 party for Survivor Series on November 26th. It's 26th?
26th or 24th?
24th to 26th. I don't remember which date. Hold on. The 24th at Buffalo Wild Wings in downtown Detroit on Randolph Street. Make sure you check it out. We're going to have giveaways. We're all going to be there. Somebody will be drunk. So,
no, I don't get drunk for these things. I get drunk here, but now we're on church hours, so I don't know how much I can do that.
But yeah, we'll be there on downtown Detroit for that event. We're going to be doing pro wrestling scorecards, of course. So make sure you come and check us out.
I got some knockouts and 3 counts to join us as well.
Yep, knockouts and 3 counts as always will be there. But yeah, that's really about it. We're your ring crew.
Whole effing Joe,
the black one, Smitty,
and Nikki One Tit. With that, we'll see you guys next week. We are out.
You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
I'm going to watch it Bound for Glory at some point today.